4:34, we both went down there. Vic, you called the game. This is the under-23 game where Port Adelaide won by 11 points. I think at one stage there, didn't the Crows get up by something like 34 points?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was a
Port
game where it went in
yeah.
momentum. There was 5 or 6 goals kicked in a row. Then the Power did exactly the same. Well, the man who was in charge of the Port Adelaide side is Matt Locken, who's been good enough to give us some of his time. Matthew, welcome to the show.
G'day guys, how you going?
Very well,
Matty.
thank you. We saw a lot of young talent on display. It was your first hit out against real opposition. Were you happy with how your tactics and your strategy held up? You get out of it what you wanted to?
Yeah, look, it certainly it was obviously only a trial match, and but it was actually quite exciting for our younger guys to be able to play against an opposition for the first time. You spend a lot of time over pre-season playing against each other, and to be able to play Adelaide on the weekend was great for especially our younger guys, to be able to get some of those nerves before we get into JLT and then the start of the season.
Let's concentrate on some of them because I'm sure Port supporters would want to hear about them. We went to the internal trial the Friday before. I was impressed with Willem Drew, and I was even more impressed on the weekend, Matty.
Yeah, look, Drew, he missed 12 months with an Achilles injury. I think he might have played one SANFL game last year, and he's a quality guy. He's one of those guys that you actually wish that goes well. His ability to be able to find the ball and cover the ground, and he uses it really well. And look, he was a standout for us on the weekend, and as you mentioned, he was pretty good for us the weekend before in the internal trial. So, yeah, look, he wasn't the only one. There were some guys that have come into the program this year that have got some serious talent, and it was good to be able to see some of their skills on the weekend.
Ryan Burton was one. You're going to persist with him on ball?
I've probably been asked that question a little bit over the weekend. I think the benefit about Ryan is that he has that ability to be able to play through the midfield, out on the wing, and also down back. And there was a good opportunity in the younger under-23s game on the weekend to be able to play him through the midfield, and he showed that he's a quality player. So I think you'll see a lot of Ryan in the midfield this year, but also across half-back at times as well.
Did you hold your breath when Connor Rosie got dumped onto his shoulder and he got up sort of nursing it?
Yes, I think you do. I think as development coaches, you're almost like father figures to these young guys, and there's a couple of times Zach Butters as well jumped into perhaps where he shouldn't. So, yes, certainly held my breath a couple of times, but it was good that we got through reasonably unscathed, and everyone pulled up pretty well today.
Well, you mentioned Zach Butters, Xavier Dersma, both those guys. The thing about them, they got speed. They're also not afraid to take the game on, which I enjoyed.
No, it's something that we've been working on, and I think it's been well documented that we've been working on ball movement and trying to be exciting and, create some overlap and some runs. So those guys certainly helped with that. And I was really impressed with all the young guys. We had, I think there was 8 first-year guys playing the game on the weekend, and I thought Tobin Cox was great up in the forward line. You sort of mentioned those 3 guys as well. And, Kai Pudney, Marty Fredericks and Boyd Woodcock as well all had an impact on the game. So that's exciting for us that those guys got to show their skills.
I was on the outer wing with Rhodey. There was only about 5 of us out there, and you can really hear the players and the instructional voice, Matty. And one that I heard a lot was red or red time. You're in red time. Can you explain what that is? Red, red, and bloody green.
Look, obviously, there's different phases of the game that we try and work on. And as we said before, being a trial match and the first time we've got to play against another team, we were able to practice some of those things we've been working on over summer. So, there's certain phases of the game that we try and do different things, and I'm glad that the boys were able to implement some of them on the weekend.
Okay, well, I wanted to hear more green, not red. Red is stop in my eyes. Green is go. So it's playing what's in front. That's fantastic. But just before we let you go, I thought it was still contested and congested. I didn't see a lot of difference in the 6-6-6, and I guess the kick-ins was probably the one where you could press up a bit more. Just on the new rules, how did you think that flowed out for the boys?
Yeah, I think the centre bounce one was probably an interesting one for us. I think we ended up kicking 7 goals from centre bounce, so you certainly get some open spaces in the middle of the ground. And I think as the season goes on and probably when we get some more data that we can analyse, we'll certainly see some different things happening. But kick-ins, I don't see too much difference. You sort of get that extra 5 or 6 metres towards the centre of the ground. But centre bounce will be an interesting one about how that plays out.
Good work. Have a great year, Lokes. JLT round 1, Port and Crows at Port Pirie. Looks like it'll be fantastic. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah,
There you
good
go.
work.
Matthew Locken, who is a development coach but took charge of the under-23s down there at Port Adelaide and had a good win in the end.
Okay, Bix, you're in the coach's box now. I'm going to interview you as the Crows person. We made a number of calls to the Crows. They were unavailable. I got not too sure what they got on, but there you go. I was going to say what it was on, but I was told I wasn't. Anyway, Port beat the Crows by 11 points. Brad Crouch. Do you think he looks sharp? How good's he going to be?
Well, look, I think that the biggest thing about it is he looked to move really freely and he looked like he had some real definition about him. So he's done, to me, when I looked at him, I think, gee, he's done a fair bit of training this summer. And
he looked ripped, didn't he?
Yep, and the second quarter was outstanding. He had 10 disposals in the second quarter. There's a couple where he just burst out of the centre square. One, he carried the ball and kicked it. So I was wrapped. One, that he just got through the game and he was still running hard towards the end. So I think that's the main thing for Crows fans. A little bit fumbly at times, particularly in the first quarter. He was trying pretty hard. But, I saw enough to suggest that he's going to, in a couple of weeks' time, be just about champing at the bit to be playing some good footy.
There's one thing Riley O'Brien does better than Sauce Jacobs, and that gets up and down the ground. Crikey's, can he cover some ground and cover it quick and really got a set of wheels? How did you see his game?
Yeah, look, he was okay. Took a nice mark up forward, kicked the goal, but he's a fair way off replacing Sam Jacobs. If he had to, he could do the tap work and all that sort of stuff. But he's not, for me, he's not linking up through the middle of the ground like Sam Jacobs does, or Max Gawn, or Brodie Grundy, or Stephen Martin. So still got a fair bit to go before he's going to be a very good AFL ruckman.
Are we going to see a new look forward line for the Crows? There's some locks with some tools, but 10 of their 13 goals came from smalls. What did you think of Shane McAdam and Tyson Stengel?
Yeah, well,
7 between them.
Yeah, McAdam got a free kick and got a couple of marks. They did, because there was a bit of extra space, I thought the leading forward got used a couple of times and their ball movement going inside 50 was really good. But I was more impressed with Stengel. I thought a couple of half chances turned into goals, and I think one of the things we expected, I guess, he's very clever around goals and he was very good. So it's going to be tough because there's probably 3 or 4 blokes. I think Lockie Murphy I thought was pretty good as well for Adelaide. He's going to be going for a small forward spot. You've got Stengel, you've got Gallucci, all probably going for about one spot. Riley Knight's another one who's probably looking to play that high half forward role. We know Eddie Betts is going to be there. So there's going to be a big competition to see who's going to get that last forward.
A couple of key defenders maybe out early. Lockie Keith, you like the looks of him?
Yep, he was good.
He was very good on Todd Marshall.
It was a good duel. Marshall got an early goal, and there was some bits and pieces that he did really well, but Keith had him covered for most of the day. So, yeah, I think he's probably just about heading the race to be a key defender starter in round 1.
Tom Duday's a star.
Yeah, he was very good. Just took some really classy marks cutting off the ball there, but that's, I guess, we come to expect that after having a really good debut season last year.